Hi everybody. In this video I am going to show you how to do a really simple and cute technique called shirring. Now shirring gives a nice little shape to whatever you apply it to. If you have a t-shirt like this that's kind of loose, you can put some shirring here and kind of pull it in a little bit, or give you a waistline, or give you some kind of shape to your garment. I did this in this dress. Now, if you want to see how I made the dress, you can consider subscribing to my Patreon account. I'll leave the link in the description box below. But this is a really super simple, cute little technique. And I think you're really going to like it. Let's get started. Okay, now that I have the dress sewn together and the arms, eyes, and the neckline hemmed or finished off, I'm going to work on the shirring. And I think I'm going to leave it here, this line here, and then I'll do the shirring from here probably about that much, which may give me 3 or 4 lines of shirring. So I'm going to use my disappearing pen, and I'm just going to make little marks all the way around, and just little dots that I can go from one to the next. It doesn't have to be a continuous line. Looks like my pen might be going dry, so just do my best. I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, and before this disappearing ink disappears, I'm going to get this to the machine, and this I'm going to sew from the top, from the right side, because the bobbin is going to be the stretch, the elastic thread. Okay. Before we get started on the shirring, I just wanted to let you know that shirring is achieved by using elastic thread in your bobbin. And this has to be hand wound. So you run it through just like you do a regular thread, and then you just wind it by hand. Don't stretch it, but don't let there be all kinds of slack either. You kind of want to do it straight and just go back and forth, not putting too much tension on it, just so it's not slack. And you just keep winding it. I always fill mine up because I rather have too much than not enough and run out in the middle of a project. So I'm just going to leave this here, and then I cut this off. You don't want anything hung up. And then you put it in the bobbin case or the bobbin shuttle just like you would a regular thread. So for me it would go in, well, like this. So what do they say? It's the P letter, and then you drop it in, and you turn your hand wheel so that your needle thread can wrap around this, and you can pull it up through the throat plate, and then use it just like normal. If you want a lot of gathers, lengthen your stitch, and if you want less gathers or less gathered, do shorter stitches. But play around with it. If you're using a woven fabric, use a sharp needle. If you're using a stretchy fabric, use a ballpoint or a jersey or a universal. Okay, for this job, because I'm sewing with a knit, I'm going to use a jersey needle. It'll be jersey or ballpoint or I think universal. You can use all those on a knit fabric. So I'm sewing from the right side of the fabric, and I'm going to start on a side seam. And when you do this, just take your time. You don't want to have any issues. You can kind of fix the problem before it starts. If you know, sometimes stretchy fabric can get pulled down into your throat plate. So I just kind of try to keep everything a little tension on the fabric, kind of in all directions. Not fully stretching it, but not allowing the fabric to gather or to be too loose under here. And you can see it's already starting to gather back there. And from here, I see I'm right on a dot. The next dot's here, the next dot's here. So you just follow them. Okay, I'm going to do something here, and I don't know if this is something people normally do or not, but this is what I'm going to do. Instead of stopping here, starting at the next line or whatever, I'm going to meet up with the original stitching. Do a little back stitch just to make sure it's locked in. Then I'm going to run off the side and just keep going down in a spiral. Now, the first stitching is run alongside my presser foot. And I'm going to go around for a second roundabout. When you do this, you probably should stretch this out a little bit. You don't want there to be pleats when you're sewing over the second time. You want to keep as much stretch in the garment. And if you're catching things in folds like this, if you do it enough times, you're not going to have the same fullness or the same stretch. Okay, we're coming back around to the beginning, which means I will be starting my third round. Okay, here's where it starts, and I'm just going to keep my presser foot on the previous stitching line and just keep going. Okay, now we're going for round 4. Okay, I'm finished with round 4. I am going to stop here, put it on the dress form to see how it looks. Okay, here is the finished product. I think it looks good. It adds a lot to the dress, but my stitching could be a little straighter. But overall, I like it. I think it turned out pretty good. It's a nice, simple summer dress.